Let's face it, life is full of situations where emotions run high, expectations get crushed, and people try to push your buttons. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful tools you can develop is learning to act like you don't care? Emotional discipline is one of the most underestimated strengths a person can develop. It's not about suppressing feelings or pretending to be emotionless. It's about choosing how and when to respond, rather than reacting impulsively to every situation. In a world where everyone is constantly triggered, easily offended, or emotionally reactive, the ability to remain calm and composed becomes a true superpower. People often mistake emotional discipline for weakness or coldness. They think if you're not yelling, crying, or visibly upset, you're not invested. But in reality, those who can stay level-headed under pressure are the ones who truly hold the power. They are not controlled by external circumstances or other people's behavior. Instead, they decide what deserves their attention, energy, and emotion. That control allows them to move through life with greater stability and clarity. Emotional discipline also means understanding that not everything needs your reaction. Some comments don't need a response, some people don't deserve your explanation, some conflicts are better left alone. The ability to walk away, to stay silent, or to smile instead of snapping, that's emotional strength. It shows that your self-worth and peace of mind are not up for negotiation. This discipline also supports your mental health. When you constantly allow your emotions to be hijacked by situations or people, you end up mentally exhausted and emotionally drained. You lose focus on your goals, your vision, and your purpose. But when you can manage your feelings not by denying them, but by channeling them wisely, you gain a clear mind and stronger inner peace. People with emotional discipline don't avoid emotions, they understand them. They feel anger, frustration, jealousy, and pain like everyone else, but they process those emotions rather than act on them recklessly. They make conscious choices instead of letting emotions lead their actions. This makes their presence feel grounded and steady. Others begin to trust their judgment and respect their presence, not because they're loud or emotional, but because they're composed and intentional. In the end, emotional discipline gives you something rare: power over yourself. And when you can master yourself, no one else can control you. That's what makes it one of the most valuable strengths anyone can have. Detachment protects your peace in ways most people don't realize until they've spent too much time caught up in things that never truly mattered. In a world filled with noise, expectations, and constant emotional triggers, learning how to detach is not about giving up. It's about letting go of what disrupts your inner calm. It's the quiet confidence of knowing that you don't need to control everything, fix everyone, or carry emotional burdens that were never yours to begin with. When you detach, you give yourself permission to breathe. You step back from the chaos and allow space for clarity to emerge. You stop over-identifying with problems, outcomes, or people who drain your energy. Instead of being pulled in every direction by every opinion, situation, or emotional spike, you stand still. You observe, you process, you respond, if and when it's worth it. That stillness is peace. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care, it means you care deeply, but not destructively. You can love someone and still let them grow without micromanaging their path. You can pursue goals without obsessing over every detail. You can face conflict without getting swallowed by it. That's because detachment allows you to create emotional space between you and the external world. It's the space where boundaries are born, where you can choose what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Peace doesn't come from controlling everything around you. It comes from learning to control what's within you. The more you try to hold on to what you can't control, the more your peace is compromised. Detachment is what allows you to release the illusion of control. It helps you accept that not everything requires your reaction, and not every challenge is yours to carry. It also strengthens your resilience. When you're detached, you're less shaken by criticism, rejection, or failure. You start to understand that these things are part of life, not reflections of your worth. You no longer crumble at every setback or shift your mood based on someone else's behavior. You become rooted in your own calm center. Detachment is not indifferent. It's a higher form of self-respect. It's knowing that your peace is too precious to be traded for approval, validation, or momentary satisfaction. In choosing detachment, you choose yourself, and in that choice, you find freedom. Validation is a trap because it convinces you that your worth depends on someone else's approval. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to seek validation from parents, teachers, peers, and later from coworkers, partners, and social media. We start to measure our value by the reactions we get: applause, likes, praise, attention. Slowly, without realizing it, we give away control of our identity and self-esteem. The need for validation can be subtle but deeply rooted. You may dress a certain way not because you like it, but because you want to fit in. You might hold back your opinion just to avoid being judged. You may chase achievements not for personal fulfillment, but for recognition. Over time, this constant need for approval becomes exhausting. You begin to feel anxious when you're not noticed or appreciated. You doubt yourself when others don't immediately respond positively. You hesitate to take risks because you fear disapproval more than failure itself. Living for validation puts you in a mental cage. You become overly sensitive to criticism and overly dependent on compliments. Your mood swings with other people's opinions, and your confidence becomes fragile. Even your creativity and authenticity suffer because you start shaping yourself into what others want, rather than who you truly are. It's a dangerous cycle. What begins as a desire to feel seen slowly turns into a fear of being yourself. The truth is, external validation is never enough. No matter how much applause you receive, it fades. People's attention shifts, approval is temporary, and the standards keep changing. What gets praised today might be ignored tomorrow. If you build your self-worth on this shaky foundation, you will always feel insecure, chasing a moving target. Real confidence comes from within. It's when you know your values, believe in your decisions, and stand by your truth, regardless of whether others agree. It doesn't mean you ignore feedback or become arrogant. It means your sense of self isn't held hostage by other people's approval. When you break free from the need for validation, you become more grounded, more authentic, and more powerful. You stop living for the crowd and start living for yourself. That's when you truly begin to grow. Reacting is often instinctive, fast, and emotional. Thinking, on the other hand, is deliberate, calm, and controlled. In a world that constantly demands instant responses, whether it's through messages, social media, or face-to-face interactions, learning to react less and think more is a skill that can dramatically improve your life. It puts you in charge of your emotions, your decisions, and ultimately your direction. When you react without thinking, you give your power away. You let anger, insecurity, or pressure dictate your behavior. A careless word in a heated moment can damage a relationship. An impulsive decision driven by emotion can lead to regret. Reacting quickly might feel satisfying in the moment, but it often creates unnecessary consequences that you later have to clean up. Thinking more allows you to pause, gain perspective, and choose a better response. Reacting less doesn't mean becoming passive or silent. It means becoming intentional. It means giving yourself space between what happens and how you respond. That space is where clarity lives. Instead of being consumed by emotions, you examine them. Instead of getting dragged into drama, you step back and observe. You ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this the best way to handle it? What outcome do I actually want? Thinking more also helps you understand the bigger picture. Not every insult is personal. Not every problem needs a fight. Sometimes, silence speaks louder. Sometimes, walking away shows more strength than standing your ground. The more you train yourself to reflect before responding, the more self-control you develop. That self-control becomes a source of power because you're no longer a puppet pulled by every emotional string. This mindset also improves your relationships. People trust those who stay calm under pressure. They respect those who listen before speaking. When you respond thoughtfully, you communicate better, resolve conflicts more effectively, and avoid unnecessary drama. It also earns you the reputation of being emotionally mature and dependable. In every situation, whether it's conflict, failure, or success, your ability to pause and think before reacting can change the outcome. It allows you to act with wisdom instead of ego, with strategy instead of emotion. It's not about suppressing feelings but mastering them. And that mastery can set you apart in a noisy, reactive world. Every day, we are given a limited amount of energy, mental, emotional, and physical. Yet so many people waste that precious energy on things that don't matter. They worry about opinions that have no real impact. They argue over things they can't control. They obsess over outcomes that won't matter a year from now. And in doing so, they burn out, feeling exhausted and overwhelmed by problems that were never truly worth their time. Wasting energy on what doesn't matter keeps you stuck. It distracts you from your goals and drains your motivation. You might spend hours replaying a conversation in your mind, trying to figure out what you should have said. You might stress about what someone thinks of you, even though their opinion changes nothing about your truth. You might constantly compare your life to others, forgetting that your journey is your own. All of this mental and emotional clutter weighs you down and pulls your focus away from what actually deserves your attention. What truly matters are the things that move your life forward: your growth, your health, your relationships, your peace. When you start filtering your thoughts and actions through the question, "Does this really matter?" you begin to see how much of your energy is being wasted. You begin to notice how often you react to things out of habit, ego, or insecurity, not because they truly warrant your concern. Energy is a resource just like time or money. Spend it wisely. Don't invest it in pointless arguments, petty rivalries, or negative self-talk. Don't give it to people who constantly bring you down or pull you into their chaos. The more you learn to say no to distractions, to toxic energy, to meaningless drama, the more energy you reclaim for what actually builds your life. Letting go of what doesn't matter also creates room for clarity. When your energy isn't scattered, you can focus deeply. You make better decisions. You move with purpose. You become more resilient, because you're not constantly drained by things that add no value to your life. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's essential. It's what allows you to be present, productive, and powerful in the moments that do count. And those are the moments that truly shape who you become. Detachment is often misunderstood. People think it means being distant, uncaring, or emotionally unavailable. But true detachment isn't coldness. It's clarity. It's the ability to care deeply without becoming consumed, to love fully without losing yourself, and to stay grounded even when everything around you feels uncertain. Detachment is about protecting your peace while still showing up with compassion, presence, and purpose. Being detached doesn't mean shutting down or pushing people away. It means creating space between your inner world and the chaos of the outer world. When you're detached, you can observe your emotions without letting them control you. You can experience pain without letting it define you. You can listen to criticism without being shattered by it. That kind of balance isn't indifference. It's emotional maturity. It means you've learned to separate who you are from what happens to you. People who are truly detached still care. They feel, they love, they support, but they don't lose themselves in the process. They understand that holding on too tightly to people, outcomes, or expectations often leads to suffering. So they choose to let go with grace. They allow life to unfold without trying to force it. They accept what is rather than clinging to what should be. That mindset creates emotional freedom. Detachment also allows for better relationships. When you're not driven by fear, insecurity, or the need to control, you can connect with others more genuinely. You're not trying to fix them, change them, or constantly seek validation. You give them the space to be themselves while you remain grounded in who you are. That kind of dynamic is healthy, respectful, and far more sustainable than relationships built on dependency or emotional intensity. In difficult moments, detachment gives you strength. It helps you stay calm when others are losing control. It allows you to make clear decisions instead of being led by panic or impulse. You stop reacting to every trigger and start responding with intention. You understand that your peace isn't up for negotiation, and your worth doesn't rely on anyone else's approval. So no, detachment isn't coldness. It's warmth with boundaries. It's presence without pressure. It's choosing your well-being without abandoning your empathy. And in a world that often confuses chaos with passion, detachment is the quiet strength that keeps you centered.